Okay.
Today, I'm showing my third favorite ruler. It's awesome. My first ruler that I couldn't live without would be my 8.5 by 24.5, my big long one. And then my other one would be my 15.5 inch ruler. It's square. I love that ruler. And then this is my third favorite one, and it is a triangle square up ruler. So whenever I'm making triangles, half square triangles, I usually always cut my piece a little bit bigger so that, because I'm sewing on bias and doing all kinds of weird things, and so that when I square it up, I'll have a little extra to square up with, right? Do you make half square triangles a lot? Good. So here on my board here, let Peter see my board, isn't it pretty?
So pretty.
Yeah. So here on my board, I've taken 2 squares, put them together, right sides together, drawn a line down the middle, sew a 1/4 inch on one side, sew a 1/4 inch on the other side, and cut it in half. Is that how you usually make your half square triangles? And then this piece is bigger than you really need it to be. Okay? So do you most typically open it up and with your ruler square it up to the size it needs to be? Yeah, I'm going to show you how to do it without having to trim 4 sides and only have to trim 2 sides. This is it. This is the square, and I've cut it in half. Okay? So I'm making 2. Then I should have sewn this with a darker thread, but there's my white thread. Can you see it? My stitch line. I'm going to square this to 3 inches. So on my ruler, I have whole increments. Well, let me put it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and they have lines that go across. Or if I turn it over, it has 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5. Do you see that? Okay, so since I'm going to have 3-inch squares, I'm going to take my 3-inch line, and I'm not going to put it down here, down where the cut is. I'm going to move it up here to where my stitches are. Okay, so I always say to myself, line on the stitches, line on the thread.
No stitches, just stitches.
Stitches. So I know that always put my line that I want my square to be, the size I want my square to be, on my stitch line. Then I'm going to take my rotary cutter, and now in 2 scoops, I have trimmed all 4 sides. Because when I open this up, it'll all be square, right?
Should be.
Right. But before I open it up, these little feed dogs here, these little, I'm feed dogs.
Feed dogs.
Dog ear things here, they always get in my way. So I'm going to trim them at the same time. Now, this ruler is really new and it's really slippery. Because it's not a ruler, it's a template. Excuse me. So I buy these grips. Have you ever seen these? These are really thin. They don't add any depth to your ruler, so your ruler, you can read your ruler just very true because it's not real thick. And they're see-through. And I use every bit. They come with a little dot inside. I would use that dot. I would use every little bit of that. It's a silicone product, and I would put those on my ruler, and then when I put my ruler down, it's not going to slip. See how it slips right now? I needed to put those on there before I got here today, but I didn't. So now, since I have it on this rotating mat, it makes it a little easier. I'm going to go in those slots. I'm going to cut that one, then I'm going to turn. I'm going to cut that one, and now my dog ears are gone. So in 4 cuts, I have a perfect little 3-inch square that's a half square triangle. Now when I do flying geese, I do the same kind of thing. I take my flying geese, I take a rectangle, 2 squares, put 1 square on, sew down from corner to corner, but then I move over a 1/2 inch and I sew. Where normally if I just cut that off, I'd be throwing that away. Now I've got a baby. See my baby? That would have gone in the trash, but now I can square this up and make a half square triangle. I've got 1.5 inch that I can get. Now the bigger your flying geese is, the bigger your scraps are going to be. But by moving over a 1/2 inch and sewing again, and then I cut it apart, then that's going to give me all those extra babies, 2 per flying geese. And you know, you just don't make one flying geese for a quilt. You know, you make hundreds of them. So then I just come back, I pile these up. These used to be flying geese.
This is a good tool.
These were flying geese corners. So they were like that. And I moved over 1/2 inch, and this would have been my waist. But now I can get 3-inch squares out of those, and I'll have enough to make another whole quilt, or to add it to another quilt, or to make a border, or do something fun with the leftovers. So that's why this is my favorite ruler. It's called the Quilt in a Day Triangle Square Up Plus. This is what the old one looked like. It didn't have the little slits so that you could take off the dog ears. It just had just the regular sides. Then you'd have to pick it up, cut the dog ears, put it down, pick up the dog ears. Now you can do it all in one fell swoop, and I love that. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Isn't that fun? So now, once I get all these trimmed up, I'll have, you know, quite a little collection here, and I'll be able to make another quilt out of what normally would have been just thrown away. Yay! So come in, check them out. They're awesome. The half square, triangle, square up ruler, plus. Thanks. Bye.